Hello, Hillary.
Hi, Christopher.
Why are you so happy today?
Because it's Easter month.
And you're all pastels and unicorn farts.
Absolutely. This is like my time to shine. Easter, going into May, going into June. You know this is my time to thrive.
And there's the June Hillary rebirth of her birthday, which is...
Your birthday comes before mine. I don't know why you're so pessimistic about this.
Just always pessimistic about getting older.
I know, but you get really good gifts every year, so I just need you to be a little excited this year.
One more closer year to death.
Wow, okay. You're getting more mature in age, not getting old. That's what I tell my 80-year-olds, but that's fine. Here we are. So we have a really exciting guest tonight.
I didn't mean to start that with such a downer. But this episode is going to go nowhere but up from here.
I concur.
Because we have a really cool guest who's like the most St. Helena local person you can even think about.
And pickleball star.
And pickleball star, winery hero, just rock star of St. Helena.
Personality extravaganza.
Indeed.
Perfect.
Well, we won't spoil the secret, so we'll
Stay
just let y'all figure it out.
Bye. Everybody, and we are back for another fabulous episode. We are here on a marvelous Monday, even though the episode will release on a terrific Tuesday.
God, what a list of vocabulary you have tonight, Hillary.
Thank you. It's been on my, New Year's Eve plan, or what's it? A resolution.
Your resolution
to improve my vocabulary.
Okay, well, you're certainly doing it.
But it would be better if this was on a Wednesday, don't you think?
Because we could call it Whitehall Lane Wednesday.
We could. Would you like to introduce
Did I just give
guest?
away our special guest?
I think it was a nice lead-in.
Okay. Well, let me give a quick intro.
Transition.
One of our very good friends here, a St. Helena local, someone who's been in the Valley for a long time, whose family goes way back in Napa Valley, owns a winery in the AVA of Rutherford, which is near and dear to my heart, and whom we also have a long relationship with in business and friend worlds.
Both worlds.
Both worlds. So, they purchased this winery, who we've already blown the cover on, Whitehall Lane Winery, in 1993. I'd like to welcome Katie Leonardini.
Woo!
Whitehall Lane.
Thanks, you two.
Welcome,
Good to
Katie.
see you.
Thanks for coming. And I should preface this by saying we have already started this episode with some margaritas that you didn't see before.
Mm-hmm. I think that was one of the bargaining chips.
It was. It was bargaining and talking about what we were going to talk about. 50% of that occurred.
Yes, you did not agree on the other 50%. So we're going to work on that,
We'll see. We're just going to wing it.
I was out there today. I didn't see you.
Yeah, we do owe Katie a game of pickleball.
Pickleball.
Yeah.
So what about pickleball, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this event, what is so special that people in St. Helena love about pickleball?
I don't think it's just St. Helena.
It's all
it's
over
like nationwide.
the country.
Seriously.
Honestly, it is. It is.
Where?
Well, it started in Bainbridge Island, which is an island off of near Seattle.
She knows her history.
Yeah, like in the 70s, I think.
Oh, wow.
And a couple families started it as an easy summer game to get families together, and so it started there. Picked up. Well, it's been going on for years, but it picked up speed in like the last 10 years, I guess. But I know St. Helena high kids that would play during PE. Did you play, Hillary?
Yeah, I was just going to say, don't you remember playing at PE?
Never.
Oh, yeah, I
sick
definitely
that day?
played.
Probably. I was not very good at sports ball.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
flying an airplane instead.
I'm not.
Yeah, no, that was like a whole sports sector that we did play.
Yeah.
It's a miracle I can fly a helicopter. I'm so uncoordinated.
That's great.
It's not too late, Chris.
It is.
It's just fun. It's an easy game. Like, I'll go out and play with my teenagers, and then I'll go out there and get my ass kicked by a 70-year-old. So it's never too late to start. It's super fun.
Cool.
And it's addicting if you talk to people
out
that
there.
play. It's so fun.
Would you say between pickleball or bocce, what is your favorite?
They're totally different.
Okay.
Yes, bocce is super social.
Yeah.
But pickleball, you can get out there and run around and get your adrenaline going. It kind of feels like exercise. Mm-hmm. If you play singles, it is exercise. Mm-hmm. If you play doubles, it's fun. It's really fun.
Okay.
And it's never too late to learn. So I'm getting you two out there.
You
are not off the hook.
I am down.
Okay.
Also a great opportunity to welcome Katie to her new bocce team, the Sand Crabs.
Yep.
I'm wearing my Sand Crab t-shirt.
I heard there was an official vote.
Oh, there was. She was unanimously invited.
Well, I don't know about unanimously. I guess I got the majority. But the college that I went to, we did not have a Greek system, so I've never experienced this, but I really felt like, from what I've heard, what Rush is like, because I was told first 3 teams said that they were interested in taking me, but they would have to talk to their teams. Then I went to the one team, your team, and said, I would like to be on your team. You're my first choice. And then they said, we have to go back and do a vote.
Yep.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
This is 100% how Rush is like. I was in a sorority.
You
Seriously,
were. So is that what it's like?
Yes,
and then
you
I'm like,
put your top
I'm too old for this. Like, why am I doing this?
They offered you a bid.
And then you know what Chris said? So I said to Chris, you know this is going out for vote. And he said, I fully support you. I said, well, that's one vote. And you know what he texted me back? No, I said, I support you. That doesn't mean I'm voting for you. So he kept me on my he kept me on my toes. But apparently it all worked out.
It did. I actually did vote for her.
So I'm happy. I can't wait.
Congratulations.
I can't wait
We're
to
excited
play
have
on your
you.
team and serve as a sand crab.
Wow.
It's a prestigious organization.
I can tell you're in your wrinkly t-shirt. I wish
I
this
hope
was
to earn one someday.
I hope this is a YouTube channel. We could see, the chest area is kind of not bad. It's the sleeves that add a nice, kind of linen.
Chris, have you heard of those steamers that you can get?
You know what? I actually just ordered a brand new steamer because mine
Can you
pooped
give
out.
him your old
So if you would like, it's.
I'll be ready. I'll be ready for the year.
I keep changing your birthday gift. I think we finally settled on something.
Fantastic.
There you
Speaking of bocce ball, what are we drinking tonight?
Speaking of steamers.
I was going to say wrinkles. Where are you going with this? This is a very crisp bottle.
Speaking of steamers.
Speaking of bubbles.
Speaking of bubbles, what are we drinking tonight, Katie?
So you told me to bring 1 or 2 bottles of what I want to share with you.
Cool.
And I know Napa Valley is known for Cabernet. Whitehall Lane is known for our Cabernet and our Merlot. I mean, that's when my parents bought Whitehall Lane in 1993. The vineyard around the winery is a Merlot vineyard, and Whitehall Lane was known for Merlot. We've since acquired a handful of Cabernet vineyards on the valley floor, and that's what we're known for. But what I love about having a small family-owned winery is, what do you want to do next? What else can we do? What else can we play with? And when Jason Moulton, our current winemaker, started with us 7 years ago, we would go out to lunch and chat and just get to know each other. And one day we're having lunch and he said, okay, what is one thing that your family's winery doesn't do that you want? I said, I love sparkling wine. I love bubbles, and we don't make one. And he said, I'm gonna make sure that happens. So 4 years ago, we bought a Chardonnay Pinot Noir vineyard in Sonoma, and we're able to put aside some Pinot Noir grapes and came up with this. And we started with 300 cases. I think 250 the first vintage, 300 the second vintage, and 2022, which will be coming out next month, we doubled it to 600 cases. And we just hand sell it out of the winery. We hand riddle all the bottles, everything.
And you do it all, it's all at Whitehall Lane.
All hand made, all at Whitehall Lane. It's delicious. I love it.
It is a labor of love to make good sparkling wine.
And Jason said, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it in-house. We're going to do it all by hand. We're going to hand riddle them every day. And he does. And I'm so proud of it. I'm really excited about it. So that was the first thing I wanted to share with you guys.
It's really damn good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I want to drink this all summer and winter.
Really good.
That's fantastic. And the only place you can get it, can the wine club get it, or is it only at the...
One of our, we have 3 wine clubs, and one of the clubs gets it.
Like the lucky few.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's
delicious. It's a perfect way to start a podcast.
And bubbles, years ago, people would drink it just on special occasions, holidays, anniversaries.
Every day.
We drink bubbles every week.
Yeah.
I mean,
Every
why
day's a
not?
special
Pachi,
occasion.
every Thursday.
100%.
Oh, look, every Monday.
It's about making life special and celebrating.
Exactly.
Why not? Especially after COVID. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
So you can celebrate anything.
So tell us about your day-to-day job at the winery. VP of Operations.
Yeah, so operations is interesting. I wake up in I wake up in the morning with a plan of what I'm going to do. I get up early on my emails, catching up, making a plan for the day. And 9 out of 10 times that plan for the day doesn't happen. It is what it is. So, we're considered we're in the small category, but we make about 40,000 cases. But for me, operations entails all the day-to-day. I oversee all of our retail part of the business, which would be our tasting room, our wine club, our web sales. I do all our hiring, so I oversee our human resources part of the business. I plan all of our events for the year. I'm property manager for a handful of our rental properties on our vineyards. Compliance.
Oh my God.
Insurance. I oversee the compliance. I don't do the compliance. We outsource that, but someone has to oversee it.
Yeah.
Our insurance.
Wow.
Every year. I mean, it changes day to day, but that's why I think I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Just to
this
sit
doesn't
at a
ever
desk.
work out for you. You've got a big resume now.
I always said I would never work for my family. I always said I will never work for my family.
Yeah.
And then look
here you are.
And
Here you are.
after I did a handful of other things in my life, I showed up here. So.
Well, I think it's really special to have, like, there's fewer and fewer family-owned wineries, vineyards, operations.
Yeah.
There's a lot of consolidation, which we talk about a lot on this podcast. But it's really cool to see you keeping it going. And
I feel like the tables have turned for me personally now, because now I see, like, okay, well, now, I have teenage kids who might want to do this someday. I have nieces and nephews who might want to be involved someday. A couple of them are now. But now it's like I need to continue what we're doing and put it in a good place where then someday it can be passed on. Where for a handful of years I felt like I was like doing the grind. But now I feel like now I have a purpose, because now I can work to pass it on to the next generation someday. So it's exciting.
way cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Nice. Well, Heather, you're staring longingly at the podcast.
She's like, I really want to talk about
I was really excited about the log.
at the
this
log.
week.
But you have an interesting date group of logs.
I do. So we're doing December 2022 because that's next in our sequence.
Okay.
And then we're doing December 1993 in honor.
Of the year that the Leonardinis bought the winery.
Exactly.
30 years.
So I have some 93 and then we have the 2022.
Well, great.
As
Well, let's start with something fun, right?
Yeah. So I have on 9:25 a.m. on Tuesday, November 30th. This is 1993. Officers respond to help animal control and state fish and game corral an errant.
Oh, orangutan? What?
ERANT. How do you say that?
Errant.
Errant. An errant pig.
Well, that was not on my vocab yet for the New Year's resolution.
That was a popular word in the 90s, not now.
Yes, pig on Charter Oak Avenue. Animal taken to the city cooperation yard.
Co-op.
So it took three
Corporation.
different people to like.
Three different organizations
Thank
to
you.
bring an errant
Yeah.
pig to
Yeah,
justice.
apparently words are hard for me today.
Gosh.
It took animal control, the police, and fish and game.
Wow.
Fishing game
Fish and game came up.
came in.
Wow. Good for them.
They swooped in.
I have
And what
another-
happened?
Yeah.
We don't know.
I don't know.
Have you
Poor
have you
thing.
had the ham biscuits at Longman Ranch?
I don't eat ham.
Well, then you didn't eat our errant pig.
Did not.
Longman Ranch or Farmstead was not around in the 93s, so
No.
our pig was
Survived.
spared, I'm
Man
sure.
I like to think he went to a happy place.
Yes,
Not
Ellie.
dead, like, I mean, an actual happy physical land.
Living happily in the woods. Another animal
Police log?
police log. Thank you. That's what we're doing here. This will be Tuesday, December 28th.
We're back to 2022.
Excuse me. Thank you. We're on 2022. At 1600, 4 p.m. A 14-year-old orange cat was reported missing from Grayson Avenue. It ran away on Christmas Eve because a relative's dogs were visiting. Sad story.
That is sad.
It is sad.
I'd like to share one about
Sure.
another animal here that I read
Subject of
on
animals.
December 23rd of 2022. A big brown wet dog. Who writes these? Dragging a leash and bearing a "Do Not Pet Me" sign was seen walking along Sulphur Creek towards town. That's all.
You think he was taking himself for a walk?
I don't know, but I can picture it though. Like the Christmas season, it's a walking desk. Christmas.
They're like,
tree.
"Go walk yourself."
Yeah. No one's scared to touch him because he says, "Do not pet." It's like a Oliver
It's a perfect
Twist,
storm.
the Christmas version.
Perfect storm. Maybe this is the same dog because on Monday, December the 5th, 5 p.m., report of an ongoing problem with the dog at large. The dog has been seen pushing over an elderly woman and going after a leashed dog.
So then they put the "Do Not Pet Me" sign on the dog after.
To save the elderly.
And now you know the rest of the story.
We do?
What happened?
That's it. They put the "Do Not Pet" sign after they kept knocking over elderly women and taking other dogs with leashes for rides.
Is it still on
Yeah.
the prowl though?
I'm sure. Oh my gosh.
Dear.
It's fun.
Oh dear. Well,
Oh, there's one more about
yeah, no,
animals.
go for it.
Can I just do this
Yeah,
one?
please.
There was a on the day after Christmas. Oh, that was at 4 a.m. Report of a woman screaming on Rosebud Lane for the past 20 minutes. The officers arrived, did not see a woman, but heard faint noises of coyotes. Was not a woman.
You know, we've talked about cross-referencing the next door logs with these to find out who is making these complaints. Because I guarantee you someone on next door was saying, there's a woman screaming next door. There's helicopters in the vineyards at 3 in the morning during frost season.
But when
What could
does
it
a
possibly
woman
be?
sound like a coyote? I'm sorry.
Maybe it was a post-Christmas punch.
Oh, well, it was at 4:40 a.m. right after Christmas. Wow. Things happen.
Oh dear. Oh dear. I have no words.
I'd like to
for
give a
that.
shout out to our police department. Check this out. Sunday, December 4th, a tree fell on the Silverado Trail. An officer cleared the branches and debris from the roadway. A second call, Monday, December 5th, 6 in the morning. A manhole cover came off near Oak and Mitchell. An officer helped reattach it. And then you can reattach a manhole. Okay. Tuesday, December 6th, 7:30 in the morning, a large tree limb fell onto the sidewalk near Main and Spring. An officer moved it out of the way and notified Public Works. I think our San Helena Police Department is doing way more of the Public Works job, maybe, than the actual law enforcement
Well,
job.
maybe because it was the holidays, they wanted to give them some time off.
It's true.
And they all have an underlying goal of becoming an arborist.
Wow. That's actually quite possible. Well said.
They need a hobby.
Speaking of arboring, I don't know if this is currently in litigation or not, if you're allowed to speak about it or not, Katie, but a tree fell in your neighborhood recently.
It did.
Can we hear about this?
This is the second time I've experienced in a very old, historic oak tree. So in 2017 at Whitehall Lane, we had an approximate 300-year-old oak tree behind the winery, right in front of our guest house, the old house that was on Whitehall Lane. And after 4 or 5 years of drought, then we had heavy rains that year, and those oak trees love to soak up all the rain they can, and they did. And then one night, I think it was March of 17, heavy winds came through, and that tree fell down on the guest house. So we dealt with that. Thankfully, no one was there, so it was great. But my house on Allen, there's an approximate 300-year-old oak tree in my backyard, and it's a beautiful tree, but it's always worried me just because of the age of it. I mean, they don't live forever. No. And then I saw in 17 what happened to the oak tree at Whitehall Lane. So, but we were good about taking care of it and pruning it and all that. So I left on a Monday morning to go to Mexico, and we saw there was another storm coming in. So my son and I were driving out early that morning, heading to the airport. I looked at that tree. I was like, please just be good while I'm gone. So next day at about noon, a couple guys were staying at my house and taking care of my house and my cats, and texted me and said, "No one is hurt, all is okay." I was like, what is that supposed to mean? But I'm in Mexico, so like the images aren't coming through. I'm like, what does that mean? Finally, the images come through, and yeah. So after it split, the arborist said it was about 350 years old. Beautiful tree. But that day, I think it was March 17th, there were like 70-mile-an-hour winds in the middle of the day.
If it was going to go, that was its time to go.
Yeah, and it split in half, and half went into the street and blocked our road, and the other half kind of went down the property line, and a big chunk hit my neighbor's home, unfortunately, and then another chunk went into my yard, and then the further yard. So It was sad, but thankfully no one got hurt. It was in the middle of the day.
Cool.
But crazy.
Wow.
And then Pacific Tree Care came in. They're out of Calistoga. This guy, Jake, who manages...
This is a free plug. I just want to put that in there.
It's totally free. He calls... I was like, oh my gosh. So someone took a picture of his business card and sent it to me within an hour of this happening. So I texted him. He called me. He's like, do not come home. You're in Mexico. You have fun. I've got this.
Nice.
He was directing my contractors to get all the furniture out of my shed, into organizing my garage. He got the plumber out there to fix a burst pipe in my backyard. He calls me again. Don't come home. Everything is good. I came home 4 days later. Everything was cleared out.
Wow, you nailed that.
Done. I'm like, I owe you. I haven't
Pacific
met him.
Tree Care.
I haven't met Jake yet, but I owe him.
Jake from Pacific Tree Care.
Jake from Pacific Tree Care.
This
he
is your free
was
app.
like, don't come home.
You're the hero of
You stay in
911.
Mexico and have fun. I got this. Isn't that awesome?
That's fantastic.
But that's what I love about small town.
Yeah.
They're from Calistoga. He just... That's
Yeah.
what you do for people. And you know what? I'm going to come across him someday and do something nice for him.
That's good.
That's what you do in small town. I love it.
I think some of this Blanc de Noir would be...
Yeah. So,
Jake would love it.
anyway, so all is good.
Speaking of small town family businesses, what has been your favorite part about... the best and worst. I don't know. About family business in Napa Valley.
Family business.
Yeah.
What do you say, Chris? You do
I
the
don't
same,
know. I'm
don't
asking you. Should we talk about
I'm going to
our...
ask you.
Well, let's do it. I'll talk about our long history with Whitehall Lane.
Yes, we definitely need to do that.
Whitehall Lane was one of the first winery to do a single vineyard designate from Morisoli.
And what do we
I
have
did not
on our
know that.
table?
It's the first one. We have a 1990 Whitehall Lane Morisoli Vineyard, which we
Are we going to
opened up.
skip the Semillon? But we should, since you're talking about it. We can go backwards. There's
We'll
nothing
go
wrong
back.
with
I'm
that.
fine with going back.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah,
There's
okay.
no rules. We can do whatever we
Perfect.
want.
So we just opened this. We only have, maybe about 8 or 9 of these.
So it's a
hopefully good.
Whitehall Lane Cabernet with Morisoli Vineyard on the label. 100%
Wow.
Cabernet 1990.
1990.
So my family bought the winery in 93. But even though this is, harvested in 1990, it would have been released in 92 or 93.
So you
So
had,
this would be the
control of
first
it.
vintage that my family sold
That's
of
cool.
Cabernet, which
That's
is really cool. I can't wait
way
to try
cool.
it. Yeah.
I
So
can already smell it.
I
Here we
wasn't
are.
around. I was born, but I wasn't around.
I hate
Live,
to say
here
this,
we
but
go.
I can't say the same.
Well, I haven't tried it, but it smells
It
delicious.
smells,
it still has a
yeah.
lot of fruit to it.
damn.
Damn in a good way or damn in a
Good.
bad
No,
way?
that's
Oh.
great.
It's like that
Wow.
could be taken either way.
And don't get me wrong, I've had plenty of.
Well, if it's not good, we didn't make
wow.
it.
I was gonna say,
But if
you
it
got
is
the
good,
perfect
we
palate
own
for
it.
this.
It's
Oh.
definitely
delicious.
not corked.
I think it's delicious.
Really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, it's beautiful.
And just with my taste,
long history.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
With my taste in Cabernets in Napa Valley, for my preference is 10 to 15 years. So this goes way over that. This is 33 years. I think it's delicious. It's
Nice.
really nice.
Yeah.
So tell us more about the history.
We had sold to White. I don't remember the year. I think it was probably the mid '80s. We started selling to Whitehall because Ray Corson, who lived next to us in on Nebom Lane, worked there. I think as a cellar hand, and then he eventually worked up to be the winemaker. And he started his own brand, Elise, at Whitehall as well. So he custom crushed there, and began making a single vineyard also. And then I guess convinced whoever. I don't know who owned Whitehall before you guys.
Judd.
That's right, the Finkelsteins.
Yeah, the Finkelsteins.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
So Finkelsteins.
Judd's father and
Were they a
friend.
doctor?
They were doctors from Southern California.
Because I do the Finkelstein test all the time at work.
Wow. There you go.
It's to
What
check
is
for
that?
dequillins tendinitis in your wrist.
Oh, wow.
It's called the Finkelstein test.
That must
Anyway,
be it.
fun facts,
I
everyone.
wonder if that's the same.
And then, it's
Doctors,
called
same family?
the new mom. This is a very deep dive, but it's called the new mom thing because it's from the lifting of the baby, that motion.
Wow.
So it's right here on that
Oh,
radial
interesting.
side, and it's a tendinitis, dequillins
Really?
tendinitis, and you do the Finkelstein test to check for it. Anyway,
Wow.
that's everyone's medical fun fact for this
I love
episode.
that.
That's great.
Thank you.
Anyway.
I love it.
So good folks, and Ray eventually wound up being the winemaker. Made this wine, made Elise, and we continued to sell to Whitehall Lane up through I think '96 or '97, Before 1990, it went into the Whitehall Lane Reserve, which is a really cool label, which I remember I saw you post not too long ago. It's very artsy, fun.
The wax coloring.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, very.
By a little girl named Lauren House.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's a beautiful label.
So into that, and then in 90 they decided to make it a single vineyard, and I believe this wine won top 10 in the U.S. from Wine Spectator, which kind of put things on the
This
map.
one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was this one, and then ever since it continued to do well with the critics and was a hit, and it kind of made more wineries want to put a single vineyard designate on
And put your
Morisoli
name on the
fruit.
label.
So,
Absolutely.
anyway.
That's great.
So, again, a great relationship with Whitehall Lane. Sold, I think, all the way until 97 or 98. And then Dave Finney jumped in there with Oren Swift, that you well know of, and started making... Now, the Whitehall Lane block is in Mercury Head. So,
Okay.
there you go.
Very nice. Family connection.
Yeah,
There
cool.
we go. And
So-
it's scrumptious.
And it's really good.
So if anyone
It's
has a bottle,
beautiful. It's really good.
sitting
And
at
so you
home.
said you
Super
only
nice.
have like 8 bottles or so.
Yeah, there's
Thank
only
you
8 or
so
9
much
left.
for bringing it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
The last-
opening it. It's delicious.
The last one I drank with these was actually with Russell Bevan and Adam Duritz from the Counting Crows.
Oh, how
And we
funny.
had a blast drinking it. Yeah, Russell was charged up about it.
That's great.
Can you
Love
find
it.
these like, I don't want to say on eBay, but like the wine versions
I
on
haven't seen
eBay?
it. It's
Well, and
fine
that's
anytime.
always hard too because you don't know how it's been stored.
Yeah,
You
true.
don't know how it's been cellared, and we'll have people reach out to us once in a while and be like, "We're drinking a bottle of whatever wine, and it tastes corked. It doesn't taste right. It feels like it's been, it's been affected by heat. Like, okay, let's look you up on the system. I don't see you in the system. Well, we didn't buy it from you. We bought it we found it online. It's like,
You have no idea.
Yeah.
I can't vouch for it,
Yeah.
and I'm not,
So like
that's a
buying
tough
clothes from a
one.
vintage shop.
It's
Yeah.
a tough one. Buy directly from the winery.
So,
if you want to guarantee.
do you guys still have a decent wine library from the old years before you owned it, or was that all kind of?
Not so much anymore. We really don't. My dad has a cellar at home.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure with a handful of bottles. I have a handful of bottles from each vintage, but not a lot.
Yeah,
Not a lot. It's pretty scarce.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So
No,
tell us
we
about.
like to sell our wine.
It's actually the
Sell
best.
our wine, not seller.
Best idea.
Sell our wine.
That's good. So what do you remember about '93 when your folks bought this place?
I really don't. I was
Yeah.
in school. My dad's funny. He's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
He's always off doing something, and
You just did it.
I remember him calling one day saying, "Oh, I bought a winery in St. Helena this week." I was like, "Oh, that's nice." I was in school doing my thing,
Yeah.
so it really didn't click with me because we're from San Francisco, and then after my parents had a handful of kids, we moved down to San Mateo, Hillsborough area. Grew up down there, but he had a connection to the winery. Or to wineries, Napa Valley, to
Yeah.
Sonoma. So when Whitehall Lane came on the market, he jumped on it. So I was just disconnected,
Yeah.
I was doing my thing. I was in
When was
school.
your aha moment of you had already been to Gonzaga, you
Yeah.
came back and you're working here, and what was your aha moment of I really like wine, I want to do this?
Well, let's see. So after Gonzaga, after I graduated from school, where Russell Bevan went, that's our connection.
Shout out to Russell, episode
Hi,
20,
Russell.
27.
Gonzaga
Was it
alum.
really 27?
I made that
Oh,
up.
I was like, I'm so impressed you knew that well. 'Cause
It was
I had no
It was
idea.
a wild episode, let me tell you.
Oh.
Some very detailed information about Russell. Anyway, sorry.
That's not going to happen with me. Sorry. After Gonzaga, I traveled quite a bit. I was in Asia for a while. I think I mentioned to you I was in Hong Kong for a bit. That was fun. Came back, went to graduate school for a year, got my teaching credential. Then lived in San Francisco. Then moved to Philadelphia. Lived in Philly for 4 years. And then landed in St. Helena with 3 babies. So it was time. Once I had 3 babies and felt like I needed to be closer to family. So my kids can grow up with cousins and all that stuff. So ended up in St. Helena. And I was in the financial services industry. I worked for Charles Schwab. I worked for Franklin Templeton Funds. So I did that before. And then came back here with kids, and then I wasn't working. And it was funny moving to St. Helena because people thought, because my family owned Whitehall Lane, that people assumed I grew up here and that I knew everybody. I didn't have any friends. I didn't know a soul when I moved here. So in the beginning, it was hard to meet people because people just assumed, like, oh, she's from here. But once my kids got into, like, preschool and stuff, I started meeting people. And then once they got into preschool, then I wanted to get back into working again. I like to be busy. I like to be out and about doing stuff. So my dad's like, come work at the winery. I'm like, no way. I'm not working for a family business. No way. And then, we just need someone to manage a couple of our properties. I'm like, that's easy. I can do that. I'll just manage the properties. We need someone to plan our events. I'm like, I can be an event planner. That's easy. But that's all I'm doing. I'm not doing any more. And then I just got, like, slowly sucked in.
Just when I think I'm out, they pull me
like,
back
yeah.
in.
And then but the nice thing about having having other experiences outside of the family business, I always felt like if I don't like this, I can leave. I can go back into financial services. I can go do something else. So I always felt like that. If I don't like this, I can leave. I'm going to go do something else. But now I'm in that transition where, like, I'm here. My parents can be retired and go do their thing, and then I can help transition it to the next generation someday. So that's why I tell my kids now, like, if you want to work at the winery, like, you got to go do your own thing for a while. You're not going to, like, go to school and then just come here.
Yeah.
You got to do your own thing because then you have an out.
And they'll never regret sticking around and doing something different. Like, they'll always be like, I did something different, cool, and I can bring that experience back.
It's also bringing experience from what you've learned somewhere else to the family business and have something to contribute and something to offer. And, I know a lot of, people, my peers in family wineries who did it, like, right after school, and then that's all they can do, and you can't get out.
Growing up here, don't you think you appreciate more that you left and you appreciate it more here coming back?
100%. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's great. Yeah.
I think if I would have, like, come back right after undergrad, it would have been...
It's lost, like, the uniqueness of it.
Exactly.
Exactly. Sure.
And then you were on the East Coast for a while, didn't you go to school?
I did Idaho, and then I was in Charleston, so I kind of went back and forth between the two.
That's great.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, and then you get an appreciation to where you grew up, and you wouldn't otherwise, I don't think.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's important.
And somehow we're all back here.
Here we are.
We're all here
on the Bocce League.
I was going to say, because we came back around similar times, and that's how I convinced Chris to do this podcast with me. I was like, we just moved home. We have no friends. We need a podcast.
I remember going to Cook or Goose and sitting by myself for the first few months I was here. Like, I know no one anymore.
Yeah, it takes a while to kind of, like you were saying, you don't know anyone. Even growing up here, it took a while to kind of break back in to those social circles.
Okay. Well, and there might be some social circles you don't want to break back into,
absolutely
right?
Not.
And then there are also new people here that you can meet.
Exactly,
sure. Yeah, but it was weird. People would say, like, oh, no, you grew up here. No, and even I don't know anybody.
Going through, like, different life events here, you kind of find different friends in different areas, and it's an interesting process, for sure.
Yeah.
But also interesting way to find new friends, i.e. policemen. Would be what happened on Wednesday, December the 14th at 10:13. 10 in the morning.
It's a busy month.
Busy day. Busy. December was wild. There was a report of a black Honda speeding at approximately 80 miles an hour on Highway 29. 80 miles per hour. Highway 29. Police stopped the vehicle near Oak and Adams and gave the driver a warning.
So there's got to be something else to that story. I think that, I don't know. What kind of conversation was had for that person? Did they say he or she? Was it a he or a she?
No, they are a they.
A
they.
A they.
Okay. I was going to guess a she, just because my mind went that way.
Okay.
It was a scandalous encounter?
Well, I mean, 80 miles an hour and you get off with a warning? Like...
You're showing some skin, is what you're saying.
I didn't say it, you did.
I'm just...
Can you read my mind?
I'm just saying...
That's what...
I'm not angry
You
about
said it.
Or there was maybe a conversation earlier about how different individuals sometimes get things cleared.
Okay.
I wonder if maybe it was one of those individuals that maybe have some pull in different areas of the community.
Could be.
Yes.
And they got pulled over and they're like, this is probably going to do more harm than good if we write them up a ticket. So we'll remind them that
And then they have
illegal-
a card that says "Get out of jail free,"
Yes,
and you
that'll-
just flash that, and then they say you just go on your way with a
You're
warning.
flashing something.
You flashed your
Something.
card or whatever you flashed.
I'm still waiting for
That's all
my
I'm
card to
saying.
show up in the mail
It's
from 911
me too.
Enterprises.
You don't need a card to flash anything, Hillary.
You're empowered.
You can do whatever you want.
I have a really good one, but I want to lend my time to you too.
Okay, well, I have something that an arborist would be really disappointed in.
Okay.
Plants were ripped out of a window planter box on Main Street
Tragic.
at 8 a.m. on a Sunday.
Tragic.
Oh my god, that is horrible.
That is scandalous.
Did you date her?
Probably.
And it's entirely possible.
That's kind of his repertoire. So.
I have no comment.
Can we go back to cars for a
Or
moment?
flowers.
Yes, please.
On December 15th at, let's see, about 10 p.m., report of a white Prius passing vehicles illegally at over 100 miles an hour on Highway 29 north of St. Helena.
What is going on?
I did not know that Priuses could go over 100 miles per hour, and if they do, they combust, right?
Was this the caller's police?
Oh, maybe the caller was exaggerating.
Maybe they were.
Possibly.
I'm picturing, like, what time of day was that?
About 10 p.m.
I am picturing maybe a local of more mature age driving home to Calistoga, and they get passed at 62 miles per hour with the speed limit at 55.
So that must equate to 100.
Absolutely.
It's funny.
And we exaggerate to get the police officer's attention.
And
Because there's no way that happened.
No.
No, not a Prius. Not a Prius.
No.
This is incredible. This may go down as the best pair of police log entries in police log history.
Okay.
Monday, December 19th, 2022. 9:35. A child briefly locked herself in a bathroom on Main Street. The child opened the door momentarily. Crisis
Fair.
averted. Second entry. 11:30. Someone left graffiti in the bathroom at Main Street.
It was the child.
And then an hour later, the mom reported that the Sharpie pens out of her purse were missing. Oh my god.
Oh, that's great. That's
2
great.
plus 2 equals.
There you
Have
go.
you guys ever been locked in somewhere?
Oh.
Like a
Like a bathroom or something?
no, Hillary.
Never mind. It's scary.
Tell us your story. We know there's a story
It's
behind
not
this.
that exciting, but I just thought this was happened to more people where you think you're like locked in somewhere.
Okay.
Like I
And,
was locked in a bathroom once at a restaurant in Oregon.
and you realized it was a pull, not a push?
So I was in there for a while.
How long did it take for your friends to notice?
It was my parents. I'm like, she's kind of been in there a while.
They're like, it's nice because it's kind of quiet now.
Like that ginger
You got a
child
little break.
finally left us. I tried sitting on the toilet to try to reach out the window, but I was too small. I couldn't reach under the door. I have memories of this. This was like 25 years ago.
Are you still mad at your parents?
Like, I'm thankful for my mom. She came and found me.
Holy as a saint.
I didn't take to graffiti though. Maybe would have sent out like a help signal, put it on the window.
SOS.
Anyway,
Oh my god.
I have.
Have you been locked in somewhere, Chris?
That's I mean, you've never like locked yourself out or in.
Like in survival school, they locked me in a box and beat me.
That's required.
Wow.
Not in your world.
Well,
Anyway.
I have a club member friends from Arizona that were here this past week.
Mhm.
The ones I went to dinner with the other night,
Yep.
and they're staying at a little bed and breakfast in Yountville. And he woke up in the middle of the night and had to use the restroom. And it was dark, and he actually grabbed his phone, but he had, t-shirt and boxers on, and went to go to the bathroom and walked outside.
And locked himself
And
out.
that wasn't the bathroom. He said that the bathroom door looked like the door to his room, and went out and the door shut. It was like 3 a.m., but it was a bed and breakfast, so there's no one there in the middle of the night. So he was going to sleep outside, but it was really cold.
Wait, there was no one in the room with him. It was just him.
No, his wife didn't come, so
Oh.
he was alone. So he had the wherewithal thankfully, to have his phone. And then he went online and Googled the name of the hotel once he went out front and saw the name of the hotel on the sign. And Googled it and found a contact number on their website and called it.
I'm sure this happens all the time.
He called and they said, someone answered. And they said there was a lockbox. So they directed him around the property to find the lockbox to find a key to get in.
Well, at least it was dark. No one could see him.
That happens in Napa Valley.
I
happens.
think it does.
Yeah.
So yeah, he got in after about 45 minutes.
That's pretty good.
But
I'm
so,
sure he was
yeah,
wide awake then.
Oh my gosh.
You've never locked yourself out?
Never.
Really?
No.
Oh,
I have
God, I used to do
wherewithal
that
than
all
that.
the time in college.
Well.
Without shoes, in the rain.
Well, next time it happens, just make sure you have your phone, like he did, because then you can just call the hotel.
True. Well, how about citizen calls to complain about men drinking beer and hanging out in front of the wash and dry? This is 1993.
Okay.
Responding officers finds they're all drinking coffee. No apparent problem.
They just switched to coffee when they saw the cops show up.
Honestly,
Smart.
is it really a big deal if you're waiting for your laundry, you're having a little brewski?
I think it's totally acceptable. It's fine.
Resident reports someone had attempted to pull open his garage door. That's all.
Could be bad.
Is that a problem?
Apparently. Depending what you're hiding in your garage.
Interesting.
This wine is really scrumptious.
It's really good.
Very
I
good.
love that caramel
Yeah.
taste to it. A little tobacco.
What is
Really
Katie's
good.
palate? Like what do you prefer? We know bubbles. What else?
Yes.
What is your ideal?
Yeah, I started talking about this earlier. I mean, Whitehall Lane, when we were, when my family bought the winery, we're known for Merlot because the estate vineyard's there. And Cabernet, of course. And I'll admit, I am not a meat eater. I don't eat beef or pork, which includes ham, Chris.
Okay. But lobster is acceptable to you.
Lobster's okay. I love fish and poultry.
Okay.
So what goes with that? Pinot Noir. I love white wines. So I love a lot of the small production projects that we do. And so that's why I wanted to bring you the Semillon as well. So we do a wonderful Sauvignon Blanc that we distribute nationally to all 50 states. I love our Sauvignon Blanc. It's usually about 85 to 90% Sauvignon Blanc, 15 to 10% Semillon. We grow Sauvignon Blanc, we grow Semillon as well. So about 5 years ago, Jason, our winemaker, we harvested our Semillon, and he said, "This is the best Semillon fruit I have ever tasted. Why aren't we doing? Why aren't we doing it on our own? Why aren't we doing it on its own?" So that year, he said, "Can I just do a couple hundred cases of that?" We said, "Great." And I love projects like that.
Yeah.
So the first year we did 200 cases of this, 90% Semillon, 10% Sauvignon Blanc. We basically flipped it, and I love it. It's so, I love our Sauvignon Blanc, but I love this even more. And I love that it's small production. It's, it's very handheld the way it's made. You can only buy it at the winery.
Cool.
So I bring this out to Bocce as well.
That's fantastic.
And it runs out, 6 months into the year. So I grab a couple cases at the end, and I have 9 bottles left.
Wow. That's such a great drinking.
It's so good.
Beautiful.
I love it. So with this smaller family-owned winery, I just love doing these small projects.
Yeah. And this is all estate where the winery is?
Yeah.
It's that block,
You
right?
have a
And
fun
then
fact.
also, we have another vineyard over on Galeron Road.
Yeah,
where we
so
grow
let's talk about
where we grow
that.
Sauvignon Blanc.
So that used to be the Bommarito Ranch, right?
Yes.
Cool. So Tits Bommarito.
Yes.
Do you know Tits? Remember Tits? Great guy. Tits and Barbara. We're great friends with them. And then they sold the ranch to you guys in 2000, mid-2000s, I think?
I think it was earlier than that.
Earlier, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I feel like it was don't quote me, but I feel like it was late 1990s.
That could be, yeah. Because our Tits moved back really to St. Helena. But Tits was great. He drove a yellow Ford around town. And if it wasn't locked, it wasn't bolted down, Tits would take it home with him. Like he would always get the old bread from Model Bakery, old boxes of bolts from Brown's.
No way.
That they would give him.
That's awesome.
He would
Yeah.
steal it.
I love it.
But
Small
he would
town.
just go about,
So
and he would
sweet.
always be the trader. He would be like, hey Ace, and Ace was always the word. Hey Ace, I got some bolts for you. You want some bolts? I'll trade you some tractor parts for these bolts. Or you want some bread?
That's so
Yeah, it was
endearing.
great. And Great guy. So yes, the Bombardier Ranch is a great spot.
Yeah.
And it's good land for white wines because it's kind of close to, or white grapes because it's kind of close to the river.
Yep.
And then there's a bunch of houses there too, right?
Yes.
Do you guys have those rented out or?
Yes.
Okay.
About 6 of them. 6 of them there.
So 911 Wine cannot count on that for the headquarters?
If you want to rent a home, you can. Okay. We are slowly remodeling them one by one.
We'll take a non-remodel. The budget is low.
It's probably a good time.
They're still affordable. They're nice, cute, like old cottages that we're like remodeling one by one.
And there's not many houses on Gallery
One
Lane.
just came up for rent.
Really?
2023 harvest this year is going to be the first year that we are 100% estate fruit.
Oh, cool.
Because we were buying Chardonnay.
Yeah.
We were buying, little pieces here and there. But that was my dad's long-term goal also with, the family business. So we have 8 vineyards now and we'll be 100% estate fruit. And we also sell fruit.
Wow.
So
awesome.
Yeah, my dad is really smart and looks at long-term plans and it's really cool because he has set us up to where he wants us to be.
Nice.
Yeah. So
That's
he's
awesome.
like handing this great business to us.
And
It's
what
really
I've always
cool.
heard is when you buy property in Napa, you're not buying it for yourself, you're buying it for your grandkids.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Absolutely.
So, because you're not going to see that return for many, many years.
Yeah.
So,
Dear.
That's great.
That's a commitment.
So you've got Rutherford. What other AVAs does Whitehall Lane work in?
St. Helena, we have 2.
Cool.
So let's see, go through north to south. Fawn Park Vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been to that property?
I know where Fawn Park is.
Corner of Silverado Trail and Deer Park Road.
Oh, that's you guys.
There's that barn on the corner.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, we're having a party there in June. Maybe
All right,
we'll invite you guys.
we'll be there.
Come on by.
I would love to go.
So
June is my
awesome.
favorite month of the year.
It's also her birthday month.
Oh. So we're having a party there at that property. It's a beautiful property too.
Yeah.
So there's that. That's St. Helena. And then, let's see, head a little further south. Do you know where the Harvest Inn is?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Right behind that is our Leonardini Vineyard. So that's
Cool.
St. Helena. That's on Sulphur Spring, White Sulphur Springs.
Yep.
It's our Leonardini Vineyard. My parents bought that right after they bought Whitehall Lane.
Okay.
And then head on down the road, Zinfandel, West Zinfandel. We have a small vineyard, Millennium Vineyard. So that's Rutherford AVA. Then you got the winery vineyard, which is Rutherford.
Mm-hmm.
Then the one on Galeron, Bomarito. That's also Rutherford. And then what's next? Oak Glen Vineyard, which is on Silverado Trail, right across the street from just north of Dariouche.
Okay.
Do you know that area?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Signorello. Right across from Signorello.
Cool.
How far?
We're watching that being rebuilt right now.
Yeah.
Burned in the fires. Like it's finally coming up, and they're excited about
Very
that.
cool.
So, and then we have 2 in Sonoma.
Wow.
So yeah.
And this is where the Petaluma Gap
Yes, that's Petaluma Gap.
peanut comes from.
How
Yes.
far does Rutherford AVA come into St. Helena?
So Zinfandel Road, Zinfandel Lane. The line is right down Zinfandel Lane. So if you're on the north side of Zinfandel Lane, that's St. Helena.
Okay.
And if you're on the south side of Zinfandel Lane, that's
That's
Rutherford.
a fun fact.
I'd also like to take this
Yeah.
opportunity to thank and welcome Katie and the Leonardini family to the Rutherford Dust Society.
Oh, thank you, Chris.
Wow.
It took you and Sarah Fowler and Rod Santos to talk me into
A
it.
lot of elbowing.
Yeah.
It was
it's fun.
it's great.
No, I'm so glad.
happy.
I'm excited.
Really happy. Like you guys are honestly like such a huge part of Rutherford.
Rutherford
And
Dust Society. Thank
It's
you.
fantastic. So
Yeah.
now the chili ball, you can come to that, and you can,
Well, I couldn't
you can
come,
always come to that. But now
Now I
you
can
you're
really attend.
really be there.
Right. No, I'm
You
really
can be
excited about it,
invested.
and
Yeah.
so is Jason.
Good.
No, it'll be
Good.
fun collaborating together.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank
Great.
you.
I feel like there are all these cool, fun, local events.
Yes.
There's always something going on.
That's well, but I mean the chili ball, like we were talking earlier
Yeah.
about the lobster feed.
Yeah.
Like it is such a eclectic place to be
Yes.
with. Like I try to explain to my friends that
They don't get
live
it.
out of state, and I'm like, no, we have these fun events. They're like, okay, so it's a lobster boil. We don't get it. I'm like, no. Like everyone's in lobster hats and aprons. They're playing like AC/DC on the loudspeaker. You're eating all the lobster you can eat with an open bar and a band.
And then there's a live band after.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then somehow you're walking down Main Street and the fire chief is giving you pizza, and it's just a magical thing.
It's very
It
cool.
is, and yeah, there aren't many towns
That do
left.
this.
I'm sure there are a lot in the middle of the country, but
Not
east
in
and west
California.
coast, no.
No.
Yeah.
Super lucky.
Yes.
But I mean, I feel like the chili ball is one of those events where
Totally.
you try to describe it to people and they're like,
Wait,
there's,
you're tasting
there's
chili?
a donkey
Yeah.
and there's tequila and wine. I'm like, no, it's very fun,
It's
I promise.
A blast. Absolute blast. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Nice.
Anywho,
Yeah.
that's my little note.
Yes. So, what do you think of the Semillon?
It's fantastic.
It's fabulous.
Do you like it?
Yeah,
Yes.
I really do.
Yes.
Love it. And I don't do. There are only a handful of wineries that make a Semillon.
So I was gonna say, what's the
There's
history?
just
I mean,
a handful.
what's the history of Semillon? I mean, sorry to put you
Well,
on the spot
Chris,
here, but
I am not a winemaker, and I am not a viticulturalist.
This is what you were supposed to bring to the table.
I should have done
do
some research.
operations, marketing, sales,
Where did it
HR.
come from? I
Gosh,
know.
where else? Where else? What
so
else
if anyone wants to know how
I'm gonna
Semillon,
put that on you.
how it is, you can Google Semillon. It's Semillon. Hit that in your Google machine, and you'll find out a bunch of
No,
information
you should
about
actually go to whitehalllane.com
Even
and
better.
look at our Semillon. All that's
Yeah.
sold out right now, but our next vintage will be out in a month.
it. Cool.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I love
Or
it.
you can come to St. Helena Bocce on Thursday nights, which we need to get you on Thursday nights, Hillary.
Yeah, hell,
you
come
know, this is a.
And then you can try it.
Should we final out with a good,
I have one, but I don't think it's that amazing, but I'll share it anyway.
well, typical Hillary fashion.
It's mediocre.
It's just here.
5:06 a.m. Women on Doris Court reported, this is 1993, via 911 that her 1-year-old nephew just struck himself in the eye with a hanger.
Oh, God.
Officer responded with the fire department and an ambulance for assistance. They were transported to the hospital.
Thank God.
That's
Do you know when I was a
aggressive.
kid, I got stabbed in the eye with a screwdriver.
And you
Holy
survived.
smokes.
Yep, my brother did it.
Did they call 911?
No. My parents weren't home and we had a babysitter. So the
screwdriver.
babysitter threw me in the car and took me to the hospital.
Wow, good for her.
Yeah.
Quick thinking.
Yeah.
Did she pull
There's a
out the
guy-
screwdriver?
For him. sorry.
Um,
I mean, my
it
general.
didn't stay in there.
Okay.
Like my brother stabbed me in the eye with a screwdriver, and then oh my! Do you know how much
Tony.
that hurts?
Extremely.
Do you have any idea how much that hurts?
I can't
I
say
can
it.
still feel it.
It's like in your core.
I can.
Okay, so Katie, your favorite part about living here in St. Helena is what?
I would say that I am happy that I didn't grow up here because of a small town, but I am happy that I raised kids here.
That's a great answer.
And my
Wow.
kids, in high school, they're like, we hate this town. It's a small town. We can't wait to get out of here. I'm like, that's the point.
Yeah.
Like, that's the point.
Sure.
Leave. But now that they're in college, they like it and they want to come home. And then they
Right.
want to bring their friends back here. So, like we said earlier, you have to leave to appreciate it. I remember 2 of my kids wanted to ride their bikes to school and they went to Montessori. So from over there, they had to cross the Main Street, the highway.
My biggest
I know
problem.
that's a
Chris's
challenge for
biggest
Chris
fear.
to cross the highway, but he figures it out. And then they come down Hunt. They would ride down this way, and they were like in 2nd grade, I think, and they really wanted to do it. I'm like, okay, so like we came up with a agreed trail that they would go. Like you have to go this way, you cannot divert, you got to go this way.
Checkpoints and
Yep. So I like rode it with them one day and they're like, okay, we got this. Cool. So then the first day they go to ride together and my daughter totally wiped out on her bike, like just a block down from here. Totally wiped out. And then her brother was like, screw you. I want to leave. You want to leave her.
Poor Caroline.
I know. Poor Caroline. I mean, you saw her the other night. She's tough now. But you know what happened? As soon as she fell, a neighbor, can I say it? Oh, it's Susan Collins. She's the nicest one.
Cool.
You know the Collins.
Yeah.
She was like the first, and she's a nurse. She was like the first one to drive by and pulled over, and she pulled out like her first aid kit, and she knew my kids.
Yeah.
She like bandaged her up, and she's like, Caroline, you're gonna be just fine. William, wait for her. And she got them all ready and let them ride off on their way, and didn't call me, which was great. Like, where else does that happen?
That's cool.
Like the first car that pulls over knows her kids and like bandages up her knee and says like, "You're good, go."
Yeah.
That's
So that's like
That's
invaluable.
fantastic.
Isn't that cute?
That's very
That's really
cute.
cool.
So it's a great place
That's
to
a
raise
good
kids.
Helena story.
Well, we're
Okay.
sure glad to have you.
Well, I have
and
one
your-
more question.
Go ahead, Hillary.
You have one night to eat.
Oh.
Where are you going to eat? What are you ordering? And what are you drinking with it? In the valley.
Can I do like one of those progressive dinners like you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, because that's the story of my life, so that's allowed.
So you can like stop at 3 places. Mm-hmm. For me, it's the food is part of it, but it's not all about the food. Mm-hmm. It's about the ambiance. It's about the people that you see when you're there, and it's the staff.
Yes.
I mean, it's the whole thing. It's about the feeling that you have when you're there, not just the food. If you're there to critique the food, like I don't want to have dinner with you.
Experience.
You're not the person I want to have dinner with.
Agreed.
So, you live right near there. My go-to is Rutherford Grill because I love the staff.
Got it.
I love everybody that works there, and it's a small town thing. The food is great, and then you always see people and friends that you know. So I love that place. I also love Brasswood.
Yes,
it's the same. I love the staff there, and the food is great, and you always see friends there that you know, and I feel really comfortable there.
Cool.
Farmstead is the same. It's all three. It's the
The
staff,
trifecta.
it's the people that you see, and it's the way you feel when you're there. So
I love it.
that's it.
Very
perfect.
cool.
Oh, can I ask one question?
Yeah.
Have you two been in the police log at all?
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
Have you already said this in another podcast?
No, I don't think
You haven't. I have.
Not by name, of course. But there's no names in the place.
No names.
Yeah, I have.
By action.
I have growing up here.
Was it
for
involving
sure.
a car, an animal, or?
I lost a dog.
Oh.
I was dog sitting and I thought I lost the dog. It was just hiding out.
I'm sure noise complaints of sort.
I haven't been a noise complaint, but I'm kind of a goody two shoe.
We can change that.
True. I might lose my whole patient load, but it's possible.
We can do it anonymously.
Be fine.
I like that.
You'll make it.
My rebel side's coming out. I've always wanted to dye my hair pink. Here we go.
So speaking of pink, if we want to get some Blanc de Noir, some Champenois style sparkling wine from Whitehall Lane, where would we go?
Come into the tasting room or go on our website, but we don't have it right now. Oh, we might have a little bit of the
You will
last
never
vintage.
get this. You will never get this.
What?
That was a Borat joke.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I never saw that.
You know what
I'm like, what's wrong
You'll
with you?
never
Like,
get
what? You'll never get this. Yeah, well, the small productions, they come and go, you know.
Cool.
When it runs out, it sells out, and then you got to wait a few months till the next vintage comes out. So,
So best way to go online, make a tasting appointment.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whitehall Lane is one of the spots that you need to see. I mean, if you're
Oh, and then if you like pickleball, you have to come to the winery because we play in the barrel room.
So I have some friends coming into town, and
Can we play in the barrel room?
So I've been trying to figure out where am I going to take them wine tasting. I decided tonight, hands down, I'm coming to Whitehall Lane.
100%.
Oh, okay, you have
It's
to come.
before
This-
the lobster feed, the day of.
Oh, it's on the 22nd?
Yes,
Ooh, what time?
whatever time you want it to be.
Oh, see, you know, I have this tight schedule every day, and that is a tight schedule. I have to run, not have to, I'm delighted to run down to San Mateo for a baptism.
Delighted.
I'm delighted to, because it's my niece, she's so cute. And then I'll be running back up here, but we can fit that in.
Do we do Sunday morning then? I'll bring Model Bakery
Oh, that would
breakfast
be
sandwiches.
way more fun.
Let's do that.
Let's do it Sunday morning, and
Okay.
we'll play a little
I'll bring
pickleball as well.
chartsicle.
Sunday morning is way more fun.
So I'll bring Model Bakery breakfast sandwiches because there's no other recovery food than that.
and then we're gonna have bubbles. I mean,
We'll
then
bubbles.
we'll all feel better.
And everyone in town will be like, "This is the life you live."
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, that's best. That's
Okay.
the best.
This is
Yeah, because
a
with the lobster feed, you don't want to start too early.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Tastings. I'm like, we can't go late because we have to
Because
be...
the lobster feed starts at like 5.
Oh God, I know. I think
So
we're
I don't
gonna
know
have to do. Oh dear. Oh dear.
So I really
We're
appreciate
gonna do
you
like
guys.
11 a.m. at Whitehall Lane. Okay?
Okay.
Done. Are you coming, Chris?
Thank you for planning all the fun when I have Army weekend.
No, you said you might be back that night.
I'm flying that weekend. I cannot.
Oh man.
Katie, thank you. This has been awesome.
Thank you so
This
much,
is
you guys.
One of the
This
most
was
fun podcasts I've had in a long time.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I
that
didn't
was
give you
awesome.
any weird details like I've heard in one of your other.
Russell Besson.
I mean, hotel rooms and the room number.
1352.
No, I think it was 1342.
1342.
I've stayed at that hotel, but I'm going to say I'm never going to be on the 13th
I actually
floor.
stayed at that hotel too, and I will never go in that.
In that room.
On that floor. That whole floor might be tainted.
100% is. Tag Russell Bevan in this.
Love you, Russell.
Love you, Russ. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers,
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, Hillary. We started that episode a little dark, but in the process of talking with Katie, drinking some really great wine, like things are really good now.
I was just gonna say, I think that's the Saint Helena equation to happiness: is good wine and good company
I mean, that's exactly what happened
and
tonight.
good food. We had some Rutherford Grill.
What a great episode.
So this is our May episode, which is your birthday month, which is very exciting.
Thank you.
And it's kind of the kickoff to an exciting summer that we have coming. So we talked about where to find Whitehall Lane. Do you want to talk about where to find us?
I think I know. If there's an Instagram out there somewhere that I'm not very good at.
You're not. That's because
It's 911 Wine.
It is.
Spelled out.
Spelled out, exactly.
Okay,
So
okay.
spell out the words 911.
We also have merchandise,
podcast.
I believe. We have hats.
We-
Katie got a hat.
We gave Katie our last hat,
Yeah.
I love it.
unfortunately.
Thank you so much.
So we have to order some
Reorder.
more.
Okay, got it.
But yeah, feel free to subscribe. We're on all streaming platforms.
We like 5 stars.
Don't review us if you're not going to do 5 stars.
Yeah.
I just don't see the point in that negativity. I don't need that in my life.
We
So
want positivity.
only positivity.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll catch you guys next month.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thanks, y'all.
You enjoy your evening and be safe.